Good evening. We are doing a set each night of this first weekend. It's our privilege to be working with Ann Bleetenthal and dancers. And tonight, or tomorrow night, we'll be doing some spiritual pieces. And tonight we're doing a new piece that I've written, a long poem called Mental. We'll be doing some parts of that. Mental. That she could be on the street in the rainy season, that my mother could so easily be one of the butterflies, curled into a misery cocoon under the bright plastic, color of a painted suburban swimming pool, vivid blue shroud, heaped over the sleeping body on the sidewalk, stained gray with water, stained with ice. That this could be her dear distressed face, struggling to the surface of one more day among the $1 million apartments. Butterflies die out when their habitat is destroyed. But it's all in the head. It's mental. Isn't really real, isn't happening, not on our streets, not in this civilized and monumental era. No, it isn't really happening that our streets are crawling with bugs, with cocoons, with someone showing signs of malnutrition in his knobby elbows. I mean, is that what it is? Leaning, bending down, shouting as though to voices talking to him from under a car, or maybe the license plate is broadcasting. Maybe it's the government propaganda, news about the war. No, it's all in our heads. It's mental. He isn't really bending and listening to voices. He isn't really walking around in a state of malnutrition on our streets, listening to fenders among the $1 million apartments. Mickey and me were on the 6th floor lockdown Ward B.
Until we were 17.
We were such great friends. We had so much to talk about in spite of everything being so closed in.
And one day we escaped.
Yes, we ran out through the gate, gowns flapping while no one was looking, and we ran across the highway, a broad white street with a bunch of trees and beautiful grass. We outran all the cars, zigging and zagging.
It was so much fun.
And we ran up to the biggest, brownest, greenest tree and threw our arms around the trunk. We just hugged and hugged that tree, giggling and yakking.
We loved it so much.
Mickey and me, we hadn't seen one for so long, for years. We couldn't stop the hugging and the yakking and the loving and the laughing.
We stayed there for the longest time.
And then they came, and then they took us back. So we were dancing gaily round a tree, and then confined again, constrained with drugs and straps, but at least not whipped as back in the 14th century when England's Bedlam, originally called Bethlehem, a place meant to care for the down and out, became a house of torment for the mad. Hey, people said, they don't work. They are possessed and erratic, meaning demonic, meaning bad. The sidewalks are the skin of the city. Any city has a gray skin like that, and look how it crawls with bugs. People who are bugs, they are bugs in cocoons in the doorways, crawling on the skin of the city, and the city is panicky, pushing its hands up and down its long gray arms, pushing and scratching at the people who are bugs, trying to shake them off, to squash them, make them go away.
Where shall we go?
To the jail, to the hospital, to the street. Go? To the jail, to the hospital, to the street.
Where shall we go?
To the jail, to the hospital, to the street. Or hooligans may come in the night, where they sleep in their cardboard shacks.
To mock and to beat, to mock and to beat, to mock and to beat.
And set them on fire. As during the Inquisition and its witch hunts, and during the continuing struggle towards a rational science, any expression of disparate energies was suspect. Epilepsy, for example, grounds for conviction of possession by evil spirits. Women especially examined for the malady, and diviners of all kinds arrested and tortured. Even excessive joy was of the devil, a symptom named enthusiasm, as recorded in the Bible of the witch hunters. And on holidays, crowds came to deride and mock the antics of those afflicted. Shock and awe, the medication of choice, everything from force feeding with cayenne pepper to being thrown into a pit of snakes. Then came attempts to be more compassionate. So then came lunatic asylums, then drugs, then notions of rights and freedoms. So turned out on the street, free as bugs. They hallucinate. They think they see a threat where there is none. As when the young man suffered an emotional breakdown and stood in a theater with a knife, his girlfriend called the police for help, and they shot him. 20 times, shot 20 times, shot 20 times, 20 times, shot 20 times, shot 20 times. They thought they saw Godzilla, giant, dark, crazy devil, axis of evil. They thought they saw the great Satan, yes, that was surely him, eating the entire city, sticking all the downtown buildings into his gigantic mouth. He's the mother of all bugs. And his mother, she sued the hell out of them. And so they said they got some training. What if we don't need to choose between lockdown asylums and the streets? What if we create a geography of disparate spirits? What if space were set aside for behaviors like these? Dance on one leg, sing for hours off key, scream and roll around, hold your breath, accuse the universe of crimes, listen to essential messages from bees, rock all day, pace all night, recognize strangers but not your family. Pound your furies into the stalwart bodies of trees. Say the weirdest ideas right out loud. Fly into a cloud. No need to fear your hysteria will bring chains, or a ring of white coat people terrified of being sued, or a ring of blue coat people terrified unto death and shooting you. Think what a butterfly does to our life that's elemental. There is nothing substantial about a butterfly. It doesn't feed you or give you a bed. It doesn't remember what street we live on or how old you are. There is nothing about a butterfly we would want to take to the insurance adjuster. Nothing incremental. But think what a butterfly gives us of delight. Think what surprise in that flutter of life, and how amazing the colors. Who would ever have imagined such combinations as a butterfly takes for granted in its short display of light play? And that sacramental face, those sensitive antennae connecting to our inner eyes. There are dances, notions, and inspirations we can't know except for butterflies, that we can't know when there are no butterflies, when life is detrimental, and when the habitat of butterflies is so destroyed. What is the covenant we must have with butterflies? Not that I'm really talking about butterflies. Not that they aren't dangerous at times and crawl from their cocoons onto an entirely different landscape than any we can imagine. They are demented and so are likely to kill the children or otherwise terrify them. Sent back for a third time, a third deploymental decision. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, my ticket is up. Soldier, you were given instructions to fire upon civilians to protect yourself. How now will you live with this? How will you protect yourself from this? Given amphetamines to keep you up, till you can't tell friend from foe. Instructed to kill whatever comes near your vulnerable, lethal humbug vehicle. How now will you exist with these ghosts? How will you protect yourself from those curled little lumps staining the back seat? You could smell their stillness when the noise settled in back of the bloody windshield. What shield will protect the tender eye of your memory from child, student, old man, pregnant woman, terrified driver trying to back up the car? What will protect you from the screaming mothers? How now will you live with these nightmare memories of the car that, God damn it, didn't blow up even after you shot everyone in it? The country sends you like bad thoughts from its house of bugs, all dressed up in the pretty camouflage and not quite enough exoskeleton armors, eyes wrapped in the dark rhomboid lenses, bugged, we are all bugged. The arrogant cocoons in the White House plotting and frothing, bugging everyone, listening to God broadcast from little black boxes about the end of his regime, urging the people to be flag-wavingly sentimental, seeking purification in self-fulfilling delusions of Armageddon as the fundamental hallucination of virgins, angels, and dragons dancing on the heads of missiles 1,000 times the numbers required for annihilation of the lovely little blue planet. To get to states of transmogrification for true believers where nothing is mental. It's all moral, it's all morals. We can lie about everything. As millionaire men of super powerful nation, being so instrumental. And you, the soldier, the one who joined because you wanted to rescue someone, or felt you had no better choices. Or your father was a soldier, and this is a caste system. You had no idea it would be like this. You only wanted some money. You didn't know you would want to kill everything on a very particular, singular, cocoon-feeling day. Blown out of your mind with grief, seeing your friends melt to just bloody bones, and you not even scraped. And you as far as you can get from home. You didn't know your buddies would go mad with bloodlust and rape you in the fog of butterflies whose habitat has been destroyed. And so you will live on the street, babe. You will live on the street like a holy man, owning nothing but your beard and the visible pink scabs, eating away your hands like infectious beetles. and your eyes like ponds in a meadow of nowhere. As you feed the pigeons the last of your trust in anyone, owning no gas-guzzling cars, no property, nothing that calls for AK Kalashnikov to guard the pearly gates of, owing nobody nothing. And so they will call you that strange and traveling word, the word of prophets, murderers, and survivors, the word that sets you apart from them that accomplish things. Crazy. They will call you crazy.
Cariño, cunita, cosita, cradle, cuddling, cariño, camino, consuelo, comadre. Do you remember before food was a weapon? Do you remember what that tasted like? Do you remember that it was 1954, 64, 74, and it was Nixon's Washington, the secretary of Agriculture declares, he said, Mr. President, food is a weapon. He said, food is a weapon. Es política del Estado, comadre, derramar sangre de mujer, generar hambre en el mundo y así ejercer su poder. Y nosotros comemos veneno, and we crave it too. Comemos veneno. All grains are monopolized by transnational corporations, transgenic aberrations, morbid obsessions, and food is a weapon. Have you smelled that? Food is a weapon. Yeah. Así es. And I'm going to tell you something you might recognize. Bravo, Eugene. Maybe you can relate to the following. It goes, Beatrice Foods, Philip Morris, Nestle, Carnation, Danone, PepsiCo, Coca-Cola, He goes, Walmart's and Costco's and McDonald's and Domino's, Maseca, Danone, Monsanto, Starlings, your corn for pigs, polluting the splendor of my ancestral seeds, because food is a weapon, comadre. Food is a weapon. They control your price, they control your mind, they control your price, they control your mind, they control your appetite, they control your mind, they control your price, they control your mind. Food is a weapon, no doubt. Food is a weapon, and I'm so hungry for some scrambled eggs from a gallinita bien contenta, contenta con cariño, tortillita con cariño. That's what I want. I don't want to know this pre-packaged, sexy, sleek, sugar and starch. No, 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 no. I want some blue corn. I want some Oaxaca cheese. Quiero nopalitos con su huitlacoche. Oh, yes, and some real tomatoes, please. Oh, I'm so hungry I could die. Food is a weapon. Gracias. Feels good.
I'm going to do a poem called Gratitude to You for the Food of Our Abundance in a chapbook with Mama Coat and Ann Carroll. This was written for Mama Coat. Campesinas y campesinos, gratitude to you and to your ancestors. Gratitude to you for the food of our flesh and bones, the nourishment, the steaming, sustaining good nourishment, the sun and moon fine food that feeds me and feeds so much of the world. Gratitude to you for maize, 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 red, yellow, blue, white corn smelling of morning, noon, and night, mother of so much humanity. Gratitude to you for red and green chiles, for bright pink pinto beans, for the red-brown elixir of the heart, chocolate, chocolate, chocolate. Gratitude, gratitude, food-bearing basket of hundreds of millions.
Pero qué bonito es volar. Ay, qué bonito es volar. Pero qué re bonito es volar.
Los indígenas de las Americas, gratitude, gratitude to you for the food of our abundance. North American abundance stands on the wisdom of the ancestors of indígenas, their co-creation with the spirits of potatoes and peanuts, of tapioca roots and tomatoes, of white beans and squashes, of cranberries and strawberries, and the spirits of wind and the mountains, and the sweet, sweet rain. Shame, shame to the American corporate growers who use NAFTA as their weapon, who use NAFTA to undermine you farmers and drive you from your land, who use subsidies to undersell you, who drive you out of business, who drive you to come north for cash, that inedible drug cash to subsidize your farms so you can keep them.
Yo me crucé la frontera, comadre, pa' poder trabajar, para darte de comer.
To drive the mother people out of business is surely a grave grief sin. Earth does not forgive all the sins we visit upon her until we change our behavior, and then she devours them like compost.